Welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm Kate Parker. We've got a lot to talk about today because we are talking about a multi-day event, and by the time this is over, it will have impacted nearly every part of the lower United States. Let's go ahead. That really picks up as we go a little bit later into the day. Here's what we've got going on right now. Drenching morning across Missouri. Look at all that rain from basically Omaha, Nebraska, all the way south to Nashville. At this point, we've got a ton of shower activity. This is moving into the Mississippi River Valley, out of the southern plains. A lot of moisture involved here. But what happens later on in the day? Because we certainly have seen, that moisture influx. You know that it's there. You can see it falling, right? There's that moist flow out of the Gulf. But this big digging trough, this is what is going to add some other components to the atmosphere. It's going to give us lift in the atmosphere to take those showers and that moisture, lift up in the sky, make some big thunderstorms. We could even see a dry line develop out here in West Texas. And with that, we're going to see more discrete type cells develop today. So those are going to be the thunderstorms that we watch for rotation. Those aren't going to be quite as congealed, but as they go downstream, that all changes. There's a strong low-level jet. And you can see how we're turning with height, see how our winds are going in different directions. That's giving us an idea, okay, we could see some rotation within these storms, and so that's why we do have torque counts up today. From Hays, Kansas, south through San Angelo, Texas, over to Odessa, Lubbock, even Elk City, Oklahoma, in this area of severe thunderstorms today. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see thunderstorms elsewhere, but the highest potential for severe thunderstorms in that area. Tonight, it moves a little bit farther off toward the east, and you'll notice that it still kind of lingers in that same part of Texas and then starts to get in onto the I-35 corridor and then down into San Antonio. This is overnight. So this is going to be when the kids are sleeping. This is going to be whenever you're trying to maybe get some rest, right? But you have to stay alert. We need you to have your weather radio on hand, something to wake you up, because look at the torcons. Childress, Texas, 3 p.m. to midnight, a torcon of 5. And that's until midnight tonight. So that means, again, you can't go to bed without something to wake you up. Oklahoma City, 7 p.m. to 4 p.m. So that's an overnight threat, a torcon of 3, which means a 40% chance of seeing a tornado within 50 miles. And then Dallas, Texas, midnight to 6 a.m. So all those early morning hours, that's going to be pretty extreme as well. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at the other side of this storm, because it's not. So look at these rain totals, incredible through the Boot Heel of Missouri, south through the Ozarks and on into Fayetteville, Little Rock. You could easily pick up 3 to 5 inches and some isolated bullseyes up to 8 inches of rain. That will definitely cause some minor flooding, especially in urban areas. So this is through Wednesday night, and you can see that there's a more widespread area of about 1 to 2 inches. This is where the moisture is coming from. Like I was just showing you, it's bountiful. It's had plenty of time to replenish that dry air across the southeast, and it will continue to do so out ahead of this big old trough, because this is a very slow moving system, and it's just going to scoot this moisture off to the east all the way through Wednesday, taking its time and just fueling these thunderstorms. So it's not just today that we're anticipating the possibility of severe weather. It goes into tomorrow as well. You'll notice it's across Arkansas, down into South Texas, and then all of Louisiana, the potential of severe storms tomorrow. Getting into Wednesday, we see the thunderstorms and the rain move a little bit farther off to the east. Not as high of instability here as what we're looking at today and tomorrow, but we still are honing in on this, and we'll get a clearer picture of Wednesday's forecast as we get later on into the day, get an update from Dr. Greg Forbes. So the flooding potential definitely still there, though. This is what I think what we should really be watching. Streams, rivers, urban areas. If you have concrete, there's nowhere for that rain to soak in and absorb, so you're going to see more flooding as a result. And that's why we have a flash flood watch up. Look at it. Extends from Springfield, Missouri, all the way through the Ozarks, down into Shreveport, Louisiana, even parts of East Texas. And on this, Memphis, you're in that. Paducah, you're included in as well in that flash flood watch. So if you see water on the roads, remember, turn around, don't drown today.
All right, good morning, Kate, and good morning to you at home. Let's go across the country and talk about the top weather stories on this Monday morning. There's more snow on the way for Colorado, but you're talking about the Midwest. You're going to have the Colorado forecast in 10 minutes.
I am, yeah, but the Midwest, you're waking up and you're you're like, what month is it again? Are you sure it's November? We've had this high pressure situated over the eastern U.S. That's what's been pulling all of this warmth right up into the northern plains. You've been feeling way above average. That all is going to change, though, as this jet stream starts to scoot in. So soak it up while you can. Looking ahead to today, highs 25 degrees above average. So you definitely don't need those heavy winter coats, but maybe a rain jacket, because look at the rain moving into Des Moines. You'll soon see some showers that eventually will progress to the north. Minneapolis, Wisconsin, even Chicago later on today getting in on those showers below average.
Yes, we'll take that. As a New England girl, we'll take it. Let's talk about what's happened in the last 24 hours. New this morning on AMHQ early, a tornado struck 90 miles south of Sacramento Sunday afternoon. The storm shredded trees and took down power lines in the small community of Denair, California. A few homes had damage. The tornado stirred up by the same Pacific system that brought heavy rain and flooding. And Kate, worth noting, the highest wind speed ever recorded on Mount Washington is winner, winner, chicken dinner.
231 miles an hour on April 12th, 1934.
You're so smart, kid.
You
remember, right?
No. Yeah, I just remember that. Actually, that is something I remember. Over the weekend, the gusts were over 90.
Have you been there before?
I have not.
No. I'll take their word for it.
Yeah, I trust you. Okay, the Sierra, right? Whenever you're here on AMHQ, weekend is always in view. It may be Monday, but in our brains, it's like getting ever closer, right? We do have the risk of severe weather today. That's going to be the giant red thing that your eyes are drawn to here in the middle of the screen. It's right across that corridor from Oklahoma down into the panhandle of Texas. We've got the snow out west that starts to scoot a little farther toward the east on Tuesday. That's where we see a big swath of rain in the upper Midwest, and that moves into the Great Lakes and the deep south on Wednesday with threat of severe weather moving over Alabama, the panhandle of Florida. By Thursday, we've got showers in the northeast, but we've got our next system moving into the Bitterroots. That's where we're going to see some snowfall once again starting on Friday. The Teton's going to get some snow as well. Look at Saturday ahead. We've got a little bit of moisture available, but it looks like another great weekend, just a little bit cooler than the last with more seasonal temperatures across the country. We're right back. Not always associated with severe weather, but they look pretty ominous, right? It's 20 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to AMHQ Early. I'm Kate Parker. We are your travel headquarters. That's why Anaridis is here to give us a check of the road condition.
Good morning, Kate, and good morning to you at home. You know, we've got a lot happening in a number of places across the South and Midwest. We say good morning to Dallas and the Fort Worth Metroplex at 20 minutes.
Welcome to AMHQ Early. I'm Kate Parker, and I got to tell you what, we've got our hands full today because this system that's plowing across the country is huge, and it's going to impact almost every part of the local. So let's talk about what's currently going on with these severe storms on the way. Currently not severe. I don't want you to be worried about this morning. It's just going to impact your commute. And the kids, put the rain boots on them. They're going to get soggy feet if you don't do that, especially across Missouri where it's a soaker, into Omaha, Nebraska today. We've got plenty of showers across the Ozarks. If you are in Fayetteville, University of Arkansas, and you're about to head out to class, bring the umbrella. You'll need it. This is the big trough that's the driving factor behind all of these changes. The moist flow is being pulled in out of the Gulf of Mexico, so that's where the rain is coming from, the moisture in the air. But then we have this cold front that's developed along the surface. That's what's going to add to the lift in the atmosphere. But you go up a little bit and you've got a low-level jet that, as you can see, has a different direction than those winds are going. So we've got turning with height in the atmosphere that's known as wind shear, and that's where our severe potential comes in. Today, that threat is going to be focused a little more so in Texas. That's going to be West Texas into the Panhandle, getting into the Metroplex later on tonight. The timing is a little bit later. There's that swath from Hays, Kansas, all the way south through Midland, Odessa, Elk City along the Red River. Overnight tonight, this is midnight to 6 a.m. So this is while you're sleeping that we have this risk of severe weather, and that starts to scoot into Shreveport. Look at the Torcons for today. These are pretty high. 5 for Childress, Texas, Oklahoma City a 4, Dallas a 3, and notice the timing. Anaridis, this goes through the overnight. We're going to get to Anaridis in just a minute. We're going to first go to...
So that's going to
be tough to pull out, but we'll see.
Feet, Kate.
That's 2 feet. Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, we saw all the travel troubles that they had last week with the snow, so be aware of that. Let's talk about your farmer's forecast. New rules coming down from the Food and Drug.
Okay, how about weekend in view? You know, if you are cooking this week, this is where you should do it. You better get your groceries now out west. Look at all the snow, and you've got the severe weather potential here in the southern plains. That's a quick look at your Monday. It's kind of like here are the highlights. A lot of rain on the way, but see how it continues in the same area, the Midwest, stretching down into the southeast. Well, that's where you have the possibility of some flash flooding as well. We have flash flood watches out this morning. We continue with a little bit of mountain snow on Wednesday, but look at this, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, that very slow moving system keeps on trucking. This is the same thing bringing the snow and the severe weather today. By the time we get to Thursday, those showers have moved up into the northeast and New England. You stay a little bit wet for Friday, but we've seen a big change by the time we get to your upcoming weekend. Again, some northern Rockies snow on the way for Friday, and that does mean more rain for the Pacific Northwest. But Saturday looks spectacular. A little bit chillier in places like Chicago, only 39 degrees, Fargo 36. So more seasonable temperatures. We're not talking about, record cold or anything, but just seasonable. It's going to very much feel like fall in Chicago. 40 degrees on Sunday. Should be plenty of sun in New York. 53 degrees, 56 in Atlanta this upcoming Sunday. About 1 to 3 inches expected overnight. A light snow. Now we need Jim Cantori to say, and Big Bear. I bet he's dying to be there right now.
You are always good about calling thunder snow. Last week you called it. I think you were on Tuesday and you're like, there's some thunder snow. The next day we got thunder snow.
We were talking about it, whether or not we were going to get it, and we did. Okay, let's talk about these alerts that we have in place, because we definitely have some snow that's falling this morning. This is going to be a problem for your morning commute. Salt Lake City, you are going to see those snowflakes mixing into the valley, so it's starting out in the higher elevations, coming on down. We've got that starting to move into the Rockies right now, but look at how extensive these winter storm warnings are. So you need to have snow chains ready. You also need to prepare that some passes might be closed if we get too much snow all at once. You'll notice that places like Denver under a blizzard watch. Oh yes, let's talk about why. Look at this big old dip in the jet. This is what's bringing the cold air in, and that cold air is going to be crucial for us whenever we get into the moisture, because the moisture is being brought around this low, right, from the Gulf, but you have to cool down the air in order to see that fall of snowflakes, and that's what will happen for us as we go into Wednesday. Plenty of snow through the resorts, even into Flagstaff. I know we've got some great Angel Fire. You're going to get some snow, which is a great place to go skiing. Taos, New Mexico, you'll get it as well. It's not just the Rockies. Look at what happens tonight, though. See that transition? Denver starts getting into the mix, and you'll notice we get a mix of snow starting to move out into the plains. And then overnight tonight and into tomorrow, the snow continues, and these numbers have been all over the place on where exactly we'll see those totals for Denver. Right now, the forecast is sitting at 10 inches, which would mean I would lose the bet, the in-house bet that we made. But it was, again, snowfall forecasts are so challenging, so challenging. So places like Pueblo right now have no inches of snow in the forecast. That all could change for sure. So Anaridis, there's an in-house bet, and I went with 3.8. And I feel like it was a little on the low side.
Yeah, you're just being conservative, nothing bad about being safe. But let's talk about you.